The year was 2157, and humanity had finally reached beyond its home solar system. The people of Earth looked to the stars with hope and excitement. After centuries of dreaming about alien life, they were ready to meet their cosmic neighbors. The United Earth Coalition had built their finest spaceship, the UES Olive Branch. Its very name showed what humans wanted most: peace and friendship among the stars. Captain Jum Kim stood tall on the bridge, a quiet man with kind eyes who believed in humanity's best qualities. "We represent billions of people and thousands of years of culture," Captain Kim told his crew before they left Earth. "We will show the universe that humans come in peace." When the Olive Branch reached Alpha Centauri, they detected unusual energy patterns. Soon after, they had their answer. An alien vessel approached. The ship belonged to the Exilians, a species humans had never seen before. The first images of the Exilians stunned the crew. They stood taller than humans, with iridescent skin that shifted colors with their moods. Their four eyes blinked in pairs, and they spoke through translators in melodic tones. Captain Kim organized a welcome ceremony. He personally greeted the Exilian ambassador, Kresh, who towered over him by nearly a meter. "We offer friendship from Earth," Kim said, presenting a data crystal containing Earth's history, art, music, and scientific discoveries. "We believe in sharing knowledge freely with our new friends." Kresh's skin rippled with blue and green patterns. "The Exilian Confederacy accepts your generosity," the ambassador replied, bowing slightly. "We look forward to a productive relationship." Over the next weeks, humans and Exilians exchanged information and stories. The humans shared everything openly: their technologies, their resources, their weaknesses. Captain Kim believed transparency would build trust. Dr. Han Park, the ship's synopsychologist, spent long hours studying Exilian behavior. A thoughtful man with a talent for languages, Park learned to read subtle changes in Exilian skin colors. One evening, while walking past a meeting room, he noticed something concerning. Kresh was speaking with other Exilians, their skin pulsing with colors Park had never seen before. Park couldn't understand all their words, but he caught enough to worry him. The Exilians spoke of humans as willing servants and called Earth the resource well. Most troubling, they mentioned a galactic council that would be very interested in this find. The next morning, Park requested an urgent meeting with Captain Kim. "Captain, I believe the Exilians may not be as friendly as they appear," Park explained, showing his notes. "Their private communications suggest they see us as naive or inferior." Kim frowned. "That's a serious accusation, Doctor. Are you certain?" "Not completely," Park admitted. "But I believe we should be more careful about what we share until we know more." Captain Kim considered this advice, but ultimately decided against it. "We came here to build bridges, not walls," he said. "If we hold back, we'll only create mistrust." Within months, Earth and the Exilian Confederacy signed their first official agreements. Trade routes opened, and human resources began flowing to Exilian worlds. In exchange, the aliens offered what they called basic technology, which seemed miraculous to humans, but was actually outdated by Exilian standards. Kresh became a familiar face on Earth news broadcasts. The ambassador spoke of uplifting humanity and welcoming Earth to the galactic community. People celebrated in the streets when Kresh announced that other alien civilizations were eager to meet humans too. Meanwhile, Dr. Park continued his research. He managed to hack into the Exilian communication system and was disturbed by what he found. In a secure transmission to their homeworld, Kresh reported, "Humans are precisely what we hoped for, technologically capable but psychologically malleable. They give freely without demanding equal return. The Council will be pleased with this discovery." Another Exilian responded, "Extract what we need quickly. Their resources are valuable, particularly their water and rare minerals. Their technology shows unusual approaches we might adapt. The Council expects a full assessment of exploitation potential within one Earth year." Park took this evidence to the Coalition leadership on Earth, but they dismissed his concerns. "You're misinterpreting friendly communications," they told him. "The Exilians have opened the galaxy to us. We won't jeopardize that with paranoia." By the end of the year, human mining operations were working overtime to fulfill Exilian requests. Earth's oceans were being siphoned to supply Exilian worlds. Human scientists freely shared their discoveries, only to see them appear in Exilian products without credit. Captain Kim began to notice the imbalance too. When he raised concerns with Kresh, the ambassador's skin darkened to deep purple. "Captain, you must understand your place in the galactic order," Kresh said smoothly. "As newcomers, humans must contribute proportionally more to establish their value. This is the way of things." As the UE's olive branch prepared for another diplomatic mission, Dr. Park approached Captain Kim one last time. "They're using us, Captain. This isn't partnership, it's exploitation." Kim looked out at the stars, his face troubled. "I wanted so badly to believe in a better future," he said quietly. "What do you suggest?" "We need to learn more about this Galactic Council," Park replied. "And we need to be much more careful about what we share going forward. Our kindness is being mistaken for weakness." As Earth continued opening its arms to the stars, the seeds of awareness were being planted. Humanity's naive optimism was beginning to fade, but their journey among the stars had only just begun. 26 years had passed since first contact, and Earth was no longer the hopeful newcomer to galactic society. By 2183, human ships had traveled to dozens of star systems and met 17 different alien species. Each new meeting started the same way: friendly greetings, promises of cooperation, and cultural exchanges. But the pattern always changed quickly. The Morics wanted Earth's titanium. The Ventari needed human water. The Phobans claimed human music, but gave nothing in return. Every new treaty seemed worse than the last. On the bridge of the UES Defender, Admiral Su Li stared at the holographic map showing human colonies across nearby star systems. She was a small woman with steel in her eyes, her gray-streaked hair pulled back tightly. 20 years ago, she had been a young lieutenant on the Olive Branch. Now she commanded Earth's entire defensive fleet. "Show me the New Haven colony again," she ordered. The map zoomed in on a small settlement on a moon orbiting a gas giant. Red markers flashed over the colony. "The attack lasted 42 minutes," reported her second-in-command. "The settlers called them pirates, but the weapon signatures match Exilian military grade." Lee's face hardened. This was the third pirate attack this month, always targeting remote human colonies, always using weapons that shouldn't be in private hands. "How many dead?" she asked quietly. 17. They took the mineral stores and the new water purifiers. Admiral Lee closed her eyes briefly. When she opened them, her decision was made. "Prepare my ship. I'm going to the Galactic Council myself." The Council headquarters orbited a neutron star, a massive ring structure housing representatives from over 200 spacefaring civilizations. Humans had been granted observer status only, with no voting rights on galactic matters. Lee stood before the Council's Security Committee, her uniform crisp, her evidence organized. The chamber rose in tiers around her, filled with aliens of all descriptions. The Exilian representative, Morden, watched her with all four eyes narrowed. "Honorable representatives," Lee began, "human colonies are being systematically attacked. The weapon signatures clearly match Exilian military technology." She displayed the evidence on the main screens. Morden's skin rippled with dismissive yellow patterns. "These are clearly criminal elements, regrettable, but common in frontier regions. Criminal elements don't have access to plasma cannons that were developed 2 years ago in Exilian military labs," Lee responded firmly. A Ventari representative waved a tentacle lazily. "Perhaps humans are simply not careful enough with their security. Your species is still developing basic space protocols. Or perhaps," added another alien, "these are internal human disputes you're trying to blame on others." The dismissals continued for hours. Lee presented evidence, showed casualty reports, demonstrated the weapon signatures. The Council called her concerns primitive paranoia and suggested humans needed more experience in galactic matters. As Lee left the chamber, Morden approached her. "Admiral, you must understand your position," the Exilian said softly. "Earth is a young world with much to learn. Don't make unfounded accusations when you should be grateful for our guidance." Lee looked directly into all four of Morden's eyes. "When my people are dying, I don't feel particularly grateful." Thousands of light years away, on the frontier colony of New Shanghai, engineer Ta Choi worked late into the night. The colony was built into the side of a mountain on a planet with breathable air but fierce storms. 30,000 humans lived there, mining rare elements from the unusual geology. Choi was not supposed to be dismantling the atmospheric regulator. The Ventari had traded this technology to Earth 5 years ago, claiming it was a gesture of goodwill. Every human colony now depended on these devices to protect their settlements from harsh alien environments. Choi carefully removed the outer casing, revealing the complex circuitry within. He was a stocky man with clever hands and careful movements. 3 other engineers watched nervously. "If they catch us with this opened up, we'll lose our licenses," whispered one. Choi ignored the comment, focusing on the inner components. After an hour of delicate work, he found what he was looking for, a small black module hidden beneath the main processor. "There," he said, pointing, "just like the others." His friend Min leaned closer. "What is it?" "A surveillance device. It records everything that happens in this colony and transmits it when Ventari ships pass nearby." He pointed to another component. "And this is a kill switch. They could shut down our atmospheric protection anytime they want." The room fell silent as the implications sank in. "It's in all their technology," Choi continued. "The medical systems, the water purifiers, the defense shields. Everything they've given us has hidden backdoors." "What do we do?" asked Min. Choi carefully removed the surveillance module and kill switch. "We fix it. Then we fix everything else. And we tell no one." Over the next months, Choi's small group grew into a network. Engineers across New Shanghai secretly modified alien technology, removing the hidden components. They reverse-engineered the systems, understanding how they worked and improving them. In his hidden workshop beneath the colony's main power plant, Choi developed something new, a detection system that could identify the hidden components in alien tech. His team called themselves the Mechanics, working quietly to spread their knowledge to other colonies. "We can't trust anything they give us," Choi told his growing team. "But we can learn from it. We can make it ours." When Admiral Lee returned from the Galactic Council, she found a message waiting for her. It came through unofficial channels, marked urgent. "Admiral," it read, "the technology we depend on is compromised. The aliens can watch us, control us, or kill us through their gifts. A group of engineers on New Shanghai have proof and solutions. We need your help to spread this knowledge without alerting the Galactic Council." The message was signed simply, "The Mechanics." Lee read the detailed report attached to the message, including schematics of the surveillance devices and kill switches. Her hands tightened into fists as she realized the full extent of the deception. "So this is why they've been so generous with their technology," she whispered to herself. "We've invited them into every aspect of our lives." She sent a simple reply, "I'm listening. What do you need?" As the alien ships continued their exploitation of Earth's resources, something was changing. Humans were beginning to understand the true nature of their place in the galaxy, and they were starting to fight back. The news reached Earth on a quiet Tuesday morning. Admiral Lee was in her office when the alert came through. The Galactic Council had passed a new law called the Developmental Species Protection Act. She quickly scanned the document, and with each line, her face grew darker. "This cannot be real," she whispered. But it was. The law classified humans as a developing species requiring guidance. It placed Earth and all human colonies under the direct control of the Exilian Confederacy as guardians. Worst of all, it limited human expansion to just 5 star systems, less than half of what they already occupied. Within hours, the Coalition Senate called an emergency meeting. Politicians argued loudly about what to do. Some wanted to fight back. Others feared angering the powerful aliens. Chancellor Mina Song listened quietly. She was an older woman now, with silver hair and lines around her eyes from years of diplomatic work. For 40 years, she had believed in working with the aliens, in proving humanity's worth through cooperation. She had signed most of the treaties herself. "We must comply for now," she finally said, silencing the room. "We cannot win a direct confrontation. The Exilians control too much of our infrastructure." The next day, Exilian ships appeared in orbit around all human worlds beyond the 5 permitted systems. Their message was simple: by order of the Galactic Council, these colonies must be relocated. You have 3 months to evacuate. 14 human colonies faced forced relocation. Over 2 million people would need to leave their homes. The Coalition sent ships to help with evacuation, but there weren't enough. Many colonists refused to leave the worlds they had spent decades building. On Proxima Centauri, the oldest and largest human colony outside the Sol system, 10,000 people remained when the Exilian deadline passed. The colony's leader, Governor Wan, sent a message to Earth: "We will not abandon our homes. We are peaceful, but we will not move." Captain Jinyu piloted her cargo ship, the Persistent Memory, on regular runs between Earth and the outer colonies. She was scheduled to make one last delivery to Proxima Centauri before the final evacuation. The Persistent Memory was old but reliable, with hidden compartments that smugglers had added long ago. As you approached Proxima, she noticed something unusual: a large fleet of Exilian ships surrounding the planet. The communication channels were silent. "Proxima Colony, this is Persistent Memory requesting landing clearance," she called. No answer came. Instead, an Exilian cruiser approached. "Human vessel, this area is restricted by order of the Galactic Council," came the response. "Turn back immediately." "I have approved supplies for the evacuation effort," you replied. "I have clearance codes. Evacuation operations have been taken over by Exilian peacekeepers. Your services are no longer required." Something in the Exilian's tone made Yu's skin crawl. She pretended to comply, steering her ship away from the planet. But instead of jumping to light speed, she maneuvered to the far side of Proxima's moon and powered down to avoid detection. For 16 hours, she waited. Then, using the ship's sophisticated sensors, modified secretly by Ta Choi's mechanics, she began recording everything happening on the planet below. What she witnessed would change humanity forever. The Exilian peacekeepers were not helping with evacuation. They were forcibly removing humans from their homes. When residents of the main settlement resisted, the Exilians opened fire. Buildings burned. People ran screaming. Some tried to surrender, holding up white flags. The Exilians shot them anyway. Yu recorded it all, her hands shaking with rage and horror. When the memory banks were full, she knew she had to get this evidence back to Earth. The Exilians would be monitoring the main travel routes. "Time to see if those smuggler routes are still open," she muttered to herself. The journey took 3 weeks instead of 1. Yu traveled through uncharted space, avoiding all contact, surviving on emergency rations. Twice, Exilian patrols nearly discovered her, but she made it to Earth, landing not at the main spaceport, but at a small private facility run by Admiral Lee's trusted officers. "I have something you need to see," Yu told the Admiral. The truth about Proxima. 2 days later, the full Coalition Senate gathered in their grand chamber. The room was packed. Chancellor Song presided from her podium, looking tired but composed. "We have received disturbing information regarding the evacuation of Proxima Centauri," she announced. "Captain Jinyu of the cargo vessel Persistent Memory has brought us footage that contradicts official Exilian reports." The lights dimmed, and a recording began to play on the massive screen. For 30 minutes, No one spoke as they watched the massacre unfold. The screams of dying colonists filled the chamber. The images showed Exilian troops methodically destroying homes, shooting civilians, rounding up survivors into camps. When the recording ended, the silence in the room was absolute. Many senators wept openly. Others sat in stunned horror. Chancellor Song stood again at the podium. Her face was wet with tears, but her voice was steady. The Exilian ambassador informs me that what we have just seen was a necessary security operation against illegal settlers who resisted lawful relocation. They report 37 human casualties. She paused, looking down at her notes. Our analysis of the footage shows at least 812 dead, men, women, and children. Our people. Another long silence filled the room. Then Song did something no one expected. She removed the ceremonial chain of office from around her neck and placed it on the podium. For 40 years, I have believed in the promise of peaceful cooperation with the galactic community. I have signed treaties, made compromises, and asked our people to be patient and understanding. I believed we were building toward equality and mutual respect. Her voice cracked slightly, but she continued. I was wrong. We offered the galaxy our hands in friendship, and they bound them in chains. She looked up, scanning the faces of every senator in the room. No more. The chamber erupted in a standing ovation. For the first time in decades, the coalition Senate was united. When the noise finally died down, Chancellor Song spoke again, her voice now filled with steely determination. As of this moment, I am invoking Emergency Protocol Alpha. All communication with the Galactic Council is suspended. All Exilian representatives are to be detained for questioning. Admiral Lee will brief us on defensive options. She looked directly into the camera that was broadcasting to all human worlds. To every human across the stars, we have been betrayed, but we are not defeated. The time for naive cooperation is over. The time for action has begun. That night, as news of the Proxima massacre spread, riots broke out near alien embassies on Earth. Human ships in space changed course, avoiding alien-controlled stations. In secret facilities across 5 worlds, projects that had been developing for years moved from planning to implementation. The breaking point had been reached. Humanity would no longer accept its chains. After the initial outrage over the Proxima massacre, something strange happened. Humanity seemed to give up. The protests stopped. The human government publicly accepted the Exilians' harsh terms. Ships returned to their regular routes. Mines resumed operations. To the watching galaxy, it appeared that humans had learned their place. Ambassador Kresh reported back to the Galactic Council with satisfaction. The humans have accepted reality, he told the Council. They understand their position now. But beneath this peaceful surface, something very different was happening. 3 months after the massacre, Admiral Su Lee held a secret meeting deep beneath the Korean mountains. 20 ships' captains gathered around a table carved from real wood. No recording devices could hide in its natural grain. As far as the galaxy knows, our fleet is being dismantled, Lee said quietly. In reality, we are about to disappear. Captain Jin Yu raised her hand. How do we hide 20 warships? Lee smiled slightly. We don't. We publicly decommission them in a ceremony next week. The ships will be sent to the scrapyards. She tapped a button, showing technical plans. But these aren't the real ships. Ta Choi's team has built perfect replicas, hollow shells that look identical from outside. Our actual ships will slip away during the transfer, one by one. Over the next year, Earth's defense fleet vanished. The ships traveled along old smuggler routes to a hidden location, a star system not on any official maps. There, in the shadow of a gas giant's largest moon, they created a base called New Dawn. The ships underwent massive changes. Engineers stripped away anything made by alien hands. Ta Choi personally supervised as they installed new systems based on his reverse-engineered designs, but better, free from alien surveillance and control. The key is to stop copying and start innovating, Choi told his team. We've spent decades learning how their technology works. Now we make it our own. On the ship's firing ranges, crews trained daily. In simulation rooms, they fought mock battles against Exilian tactics. Admiral Lee pushed them harder than any human fleet had ever trained before. We get one chance, she reminded them daily. One chance to change everything. Meanwhile, on Earth and the remaining human colonies, life continued under Exilian supervision. Humans worked the mines, maintained the farms, and operated the factories that supplied the galaxy with resources. The aliens watched closely, their surveillance systems monitored for any sign of rebellion. What they didn't know was that those systems now received carefully crafted false data. Dr. Han Park, now elderly but sharp as ever, led a team of psychologists and computer experts who created a perfect illusion of human compliance. The Exilians expect to see humans working hard but inefficiently, Park explained to Chancellor Song during a secret meeting. So that's what we show them. Meanwhile, the actual production goes elsewhere. Beneath major cities on Earth, and within hollowed-out asteroids near the colonies, a new manufacturing network took shape. They called it the shadow economy. Raw materials vanished from official records through accounting tricks, but found their way to these hidden facilities. There, they became weapons, ships, and tools for the coming confrontation. The network of resistance grew, calling itself the Turan Reclamation Initiative. They operated in small cells, each knowing only a few contacts. Their symbol was simple: a hand breaking free from chains. Dr. Park's contribution went beyond false data. His team studied every alien species humanity had encountered, analyzing their psychology, biology, and culture. Every species has vulnerabilities, he told his researchers. Not just physical ones, but psychological and social ones too. The Exilians fear embarrassment more than death. The Ventari cannot process rapid visual changes. The Phobans are paralyzed by certain sound frequencies. This knowledge became a weapon more powerful than any gun. The initiative developed tailored strategies for each alien species they would face. Years passed. The Exilians grew complacent. When mining efficiency dropped, they simply demanded humans work longer hours. When human scientists seemed to make fewer breakthroughs, the aliens smugly told each other that humans had reached their intellectual limits. What they never suspected was that human ingenuity was flourishing in secret. The most brilliant minds were hidden away in underground labs, working on technologies that combined alien principles with human creativity. Jun Sung was 16 when the Exilians killed his parents during the Proxima evacuation. Now, at 21, he worked in one of these secret labs. His specialty was shield technology. Alien shields are powerful, but inflexible, he explained to Admiral Lee during her inspection tour. They project a fixed energy barrier. He activated a small device on his wrist. A shimmer of energy surrounded him. Our new shields adapt instantly to whatever hits them. Energy weapons, projectiles, even sound. The shield analyzes and counters in microseconds. Admiral Lee nodded approvingly. How soon can we deploy this to all our ships? 6 months for the entire fleet, Jun replied. We're just waiting on the special materials from the asteroid facilities. Across human space, thousands of such breakthroughs occurred. Some were grand, like the new propulsion systems that would make human ships faster than anything in the Exilian fleet. Others were small but crucial, like the communication network that used principles unknown to alien science, allowing humans to coordinate without detection. In the 5th year of preparation, Chancellor Minasong made a rare trip to New Dawn. The journey was dangerous. If discovered, it would expose everything. But she insisted on seeing the fleet that would carry humanity's hopes. Admiral Lee personally guided her through the now transformed flagship, renamed from Defender to Reckoning. It's magnificent, Song whispered, looking at the bridge with its advanced systems. Nothing like what we had before, and nothing like what they expect. Lee agreed. Every ship in this fleet carries technologies the Exilians don't believe we can create. Every captain knows strategies they won't anticipate. The Chancellor placed her hand on a console, feeling the power humming beneath her fingers. Are we ready? Admiral Lee's face was solemn. As ready as we'll ever be. The fleet is prepared. The ground forces are in position. The shadow economy has stockpiled everything we need. And our people? Are they ready for what might come? Lee nodded slowly. They've been ready since Proxima. They're just waiting for the signal. Chancellor Song straightened her shoulders. Though now in her 70s, she stood tall and determined. Then it's time to reclaim what's ours. Admiral Lee stood on the bridge of the reckoning, watching the final countdown on the main screen. 5 years of secret work had led to this moment. It was April 12, 2202. Exactly 45 years since humans first met aliens. All ships report ready, Admiral, said her second-in-command. Lee nodded. Send the signal. Operation Daybreak begins now. Across human space, hidden transmitters activated. In 12 different places at exactly the same time, human warships appeared where none should be. They materialized near Exilian military bases, shipyards, and command centers. On the Exilian homeworld, Ambassador Kresh was awakened by urgent calls. Impossible, he said when told of the human fleet. Their ships were destroyed years ago. But the screens showed the truth. Human vessels, unlike any seen before, had appeared throughout Exilian space. They moved with impossible speed and ignored all hails. The Exilian Defense Force responded as expected. They fired on the human ships. Their weapons struck the human shields and did nothing. The advanced shields that Jun Sung had developed simply absorbed the energy and adapted. Admiral Lee watched calmly as Exilian weapons failed. Begin Phase 2, she ordered. From the human ships came a new kind of weapon, not designed to destroy, but to disable. Carefully calibrated electromagnetic pulses swept through Exilian ships, shutting down their systems without harming the crews. Special frequencies disrupted their communications. AI systems predicted and countered every Exilian move before they made it. On Earth and every human colony, hidden systems activated simultaneously. The alien surveillance networks went dark. The kill switches in their technology became useless. Earth's diplomatic compounds across the galaxy raised shields that had been secretly installed years before. Within 6 hours, the entire Exilian defense network was paralyzed. Not a single alien had died. Not one civilian had been harmed. But the Exilian military machine, the most powerful in the galaxy, had been completely neutralized. In the Galactic Council chamber, representatives from 200 species gathered in emergency session. Many were afraid. If humans could do this to the Exilians, what might they do to others who had exploited them? The massive doors opened, and Chancellor Mina Song entered. The elderly woman walked slowly but with unmistakable purpose. She wore simple clothes, not the fancy robes of alien diplomats, but a plain black suit with a single symbol on her collar, a hand breaking free from chains. Honorable representatives, she began, her voice carrying clearly through the silent chamber. For 45 years, humanity has endured your exploitation, your lies, and your contempt. You took our resources, claimed our discoveries, and treated us as lesser beings. She paused, looking around at the alien faces. You mistook our kindness for weakness, our patience for ignorance, our cooperation for submission. On screens throughout the chamber, images appeared showing the state of the Exilian fleet, disabled but intact. We could have destroyed them. Song continued. We had the power and the right, but that is not who we are. She stepped forward, placing her hands on the central podium. Humanity extended kindness not out of weakness, but because we believed in a better galaxy. That belief remains, but now you understand. Our compassion is a choice, not a vulnerability. Murmurs spread through the chamber as the aliens realized what she was saying. Humans had the power to destroy them, but were choosing not to. I come before you today not as a supplicant, but as an equal. I propose a new treaty, one that recognizes humanity's rightful place among the stars and provides fair compensation for decades of exploitation. For 3 days, negotiations continued. Some alien representatives argued against the changes, but with the Exilian fleet still disabled and human ships holding position throughout the galaxy, they had little choice. On the 3rd day, the Treaty of New Terra was signed. It recognized humans as a full member of the galactic community with equal rights. It required reparations for resources taken unfairly. Most importantly, it abolished the concept of developing species that could be legally exploited. Ambassador Kresh was the last to sign the treaty. As he put his mark on the document, he looked at Chancellor Song. "You had this capability all along?" he asked quietly. Song shook her head. "No, we built it while you thought we were accepting defeat. We learned, adapted, and grew stronger precisely because you underestimated us." Kresh's skin flickered with colors that indicated deep thought. "We made a grave miscalculation." "Yes," Song agreed. "You saw our willingness to cooperate as weakness. You never understood that Earth's greatest strength has never been our resources or technology, but our people's capacity to maintain our values while adapting to overcome any challenge." In the years that followed, the galaxy changed. With humans as equals, new trade agreements benefited all species. The shadow economy emerged into the light, sharing innovations that helped everyone. The Terran Reclamation Initiative became a peacekeeping force that protected the rights of all sentient beings. Admiral Lee retired 5 years after the Daybreak operation. At her ceremony, a surprising guest appeared. Ambassador Kresh, now representing the reformed Exilian government. "We misjudged your species badly," Kresh admitted to her. "We thought your kindness made you easy targets." Lee smiled slightly. "A common mistake. The galaxy is learning that having humanity as friends is far better than having us as servants or enemies." On the 10th anniversary of the treaty, people across the galaxy celebrated. Chancellor Song, now in her 80s, gave a speech that was translated into hundreds of alien languages. "The peace we enjoy today wasn't won through destruction, but through determination," she said. "We showed the galaxy that strength doesn't require cruelty. That advancement doesn't demand exploitation. That true power comes from holding to your principles even when tested." As her words spread across the stars, a new saying became common among alien species: "Offer humans your friendship freely, for their kindness is a choice they make, not a weakness you can exploit." And from that day forward, when new species joined the galactic community, the first lesson they learned was the story of Earth, the planet that offered peace until peace was no longer an option, and then revealed just how formidable they truly were.